Hi everyone, welcome to the Triple A show with Ahmed, Abik and myself. Hi guys, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I hope everyone's keeping well.
Can't complain, can't complain.
I know you're happy after your result last night. I saw bits of the game and yeah, comfortable win in the end for you. It's going to make the second leg easy. Yeah, let's start with talking about your team. Not seen you last week on the show, so since we last spoke, it's been a little while. You've kept on winning in the Premier League, now winning in the Champions League. You're in really good form. You've got a Carabao Cup final, second leg of a Champions League coming up soon. So yeah, what's your thoughts on how you guys are going?
Up the quadruple chasing Reds. Not saying that we're going to win the quadruple, but it's nice to have the possibility that we're in all four competitions. Although the Premier League is less so, but all we can do is keep winning, like you said. So yeah, I can't complain. I mean, January was a fantastic month. February started well. We've obviously got Mane and Salah back now as well. Naby Keita's back. Our squad depth seems a lot better now because a lot of the players who were injured over December and January have come back. Players like Thiago, Harvey Elliott has started a few games now. And obviously Luis Diaz has come in and hit the ground running. He's been really good, really impressive against Leicester last week, which we won 2-0. Yeah, he came off the bench last night's Champions League game and did really well as well. So yeah, I can't complain. Like I said, like everyone, it's great to have a fully fit squad. To be fair, Klopp doesn't really have that. We always suffer from injuries, but yeah, it's good that he's got the option to rotate and the strength, the quality doesn't drop off too much now if we do have an injury or two. So that's resulted in the positive results. So yeah, I mean, so weekend we just had Burnley, really tough game. Burnley away always is. The weather was really weird as well, like just chucking down with rain, stupidly windy. You know, the conditions weren't they suited Burnley basically and not the away team. But yeah, we ground it out. It was never going to be I don't think it was ever going to be like a 3 or 4-0 victory. It was always going to be a hard slog. We, stayed in the game, defended properly, and then, Fabinho, the goal scorer that he is, puts it away. He scored more goals than Messi and Ronaldo, I think, in 2022. So that says something. A good little stat there. So yeah,
I saw that.
Good goal from a set piece. Is like a bit of a not scruffy, but like he hit the first shot quite well. Then it was a good save off Pope, and then he was there for the rebound as well. It's good to see players like Fabinho in and around the box because you can't always, rely upon the likes of Salah and Mane to score. You need that bit of unpredictability, and players like Henderson or Fabinho or someone from midfield making that run into the box. If they make that run and get a chance, they put it away. It's good. It's good for the team overall. So yeah, I was happy with Sunday's result. Obviously City won. They're always going to bloody win. I think was it 5-0 against Norwich. They absolutely battered them. As expected. But yeah, like you said, all we can do is keep winning. And then yeah, last night, Champions League, really good game. I don't know if you both saw it, but it was a proper Champions League game. That was Inter Milan. They're not the force that they were maybe 10 years ago, but these are the Italian champions at the end of the day. And it was a type of game that we had to weather the storm. It's a bit hostile atmosphere as well in the San Siro. They were up for it. They had some good possession play. They hit the crossbar in the first half, but actually we limited them to 0 shots on target. So again, really strong defensive display. We only had 2 shots on target the whole game. We scored 2 goals. So clinical when we need to be. So yeah, I was buzzing. Not just with taking away a 2-goal lead, but also limited to 0 shots on target. I think that's a big defensive masterpiece and a good display overall. So, yeah, I mean, like Klopp said, it's not over till it's over. It's only half time, but 2-0, you'd think we're in a commanding position to progress to the next stage, the last 8. Away goals don't count, but that's now a good thing for Liverpool, because obviously if Inter Milan, take a 1-0 lead in the first 10 minutes at Anfield, we're not really like breaking it, because they still need to score 3. They need to win 3-0 essentially, and that's they need to stop Liverpool scoring, which is probably even harder. So yeah, I can't complain. Really good times for Liverpool, to be a Liverpool fan at the moment.
Who do you think will win it?
Do you know what? I think it will actually be. It could be City's year. I think it could be City's year. I'm not basing that on what they did against Sporting, and this is why I kind of hate the media, because the media, lick City's arse. They win 5-0 against Sporting Lisbon. Come on, guys, it's Sporting Lisbon, for crying out loud. Liverpool win 2-0 at the San Siro, and no one bats an eyelid. From what I read this morning, Liverpool are lucky. Liverpool edged past Inter Milan, just because we didn't win 5-0, basically. So it's a bit ridiculous, but I think it could be City's year. I would have said Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich, I don't know what the hell happened to them last night. They were losing 1-0 up until injury time. Salzburg, fair play to them. A bit unlucky to concede in injury time. Koeman scores. I know the second leg is at Allianz, so you would still expect, I think, Bayern to progress. They'll probably perk themselves up and progress, but Bayern themselves in January and this month, they've not been themselves in Bundesliga. They've had some shock results. They lost 4-2 to Bochum or someone, I don't know who, in the league the other day. And they have a tendency to throw out these freak results where they lose against the bottom 3 teams or something. So yeah, I don't know. I would have said Bayern initially before, but I don't think so. And as for PSG, Real Madrid, what a goal by Mbappe, by the way. Bloody brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He deserves it because he is one of the best players in the world. But I still think Real Madrid will, second legs at the Bernabeu, I think Real Madrid will progress. They'll find a way. I think they'll go through 2-1 or something. PSG will go out. I don't. That one I actually don't mind, because I hate Real Madrid as well, and I don't want Real Madrid to win it again, because they've won it bloody 13 times. Is enough now. Give someone else a chance, right? So we'll give the other teams a chance.
Why do you hate Real Madrid? Is that because of that game against you guys, or just before then generally?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2018 didn't help. That was, and Ramos. I know he's not at Real Madrid anymore, but I'll never forgive him for what he did to Salah. But it's it's a bit of a jealousy factor as well. It's like when I used to get jealous of Man United when I was a kid, because they used to win league title after league title after league title. Now it's City who win.
We all did. We all got jealous of that.
I always want someone else to win it, like the Champions League. If it's not Liverpool, I wouldn't say I want City to win it, because it's just funny that Pep can't win it.
No.
But it'd be nice if someone else won it. Maybe PSG, but at the same time, I don't want PSG to win it, because, like City, they're one of the richest clubs in the world, and it's the one trophy they all want and they can't get. So, yeah, but I don't mind if who goes through out of PSG and Real Madrid. But yeah, that goal from Mbappe, though, bloody hell, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was with watching that. We're watching that together, and we're like, "Oh, this game's done, 0-0." Then out of nowhere, it's just like, "Wow, Neymar's back heel." And then just it reminded me of
Neymar made the difference. Neymar, fair play to Neymar, came off the bench. He made that impact, because a lot of the time he goes missing in the big games as well. You know what I mean? He's not always. He's overhyped. I've always said he's overhyped, but fair play to him. He came off the bench, made an impact, and because of him, I'd say PSG take that lead.
Yeah, so during that PSG game, I was watching Messi, and he performed really poorly again. Missed a penalty. He's not been playing well this season. Like Ronaldo as well, he's not been playing well this season. So I ask you guys, do you think it's getting older? Do you think it's a change of team? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think obviously it's very difficult for Lionel Messi to move country from Spain to France, and then to play in a new team, a new system, a completely new manager. And you have to remember that Messi's been in Barcelona since he was 14 years old. So he's been obviously very comfortable at one club, had all the comforts of being at one club, having the players that have stayed there for a long time, like Puyol, like PK. You know, Puyol's been gone for a while now, but PK, Sergio Busquets, Dani Alves has come back, one of the old guard of their famous, you know, the 2011 Guardiola team. So, you know, it's difficult for him. It's very difficult. But this shows you a few things, actually, that, you know, obviously age catches up to you. Of course, every player is going to struggle as they get older. But at the same time, yeah, he hasn't played that well. In Ligue 1, he's not been great. From what I've heard, I don't really watch a lot of French football, but from what I've heard, that's the case. And he didn't do much yesterday. But I think that's why the thing with Messi and Ronaldo, I would say more Ronaldo than Messi actually sometimes, well, most of the time, is that they're there for the big moments, in terms of they don't do much for most of the game, but then out of nowhere, they'll have a bit of brilliance and then they'll win the game for you, just like Mbappe done. So I think in all, it's very difficult. And like I said, that's where Messi got criticised, didn't he, from a lot of people, that he's only comfortable and happy at one club. And he wasn't going to leave Barcelona. Let's not forget that. If they didn't have financial problems, he would have signed a new contract and stayed at Barcelona. So he really and truly didn't want to go to PSG, but that was his probably second best option to staying at Barcelona. So, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult for him. But and you know, if you look at Cristiano Ronaldo right now, again, he hasn't done much recently, but he still gets a big goals and the clutch moments in the Champions League. The amount of goals he scored for United, I think it was a Villarreal one game he scored right at the end or something, and he's been there for the big moments. But again, age, you know, it comes. I think he's a year older than Messi, so it's just age, I think it is. But they're both amazing players, and both players, you know, best that football's ever seen. So big respect to both of them. But I think soon you're going to see them peter out, and maybe they'll go to, you know, more leagues where it's like former retirement and just making money and having their last few seasons, then retiring.
Okay, and Abi.
Yeah, I agree with Amma. I think age is a factor. You got to remember that these two have been the best players for most of the 2000s. Their influence has waned in the last maybe couple of years. The mantle, I think, has been passed over to Haaland and Mbappe, really. They're like, a lot of people will see those two as the next, like, as the Ronaldo and Messi now for the next maybe 10, 15 years, depending on if they can keep that discipline. I think I said it before, someone like Ronaldo or Messi, you don't get many of them because you need so much discipline, you know, on the pitch and off the pitch, to have that longevity, to call yourself the best for that long period of time. So, you know, credit to them. They both had fantastic careers. They've won God knows how many Ballon d'Ors between them, and scored however many goals, won however many trophies. But yeah, it's sad because it's like they come towards the end of their careers. So this is a classic time when you should think about when's the good time to call it and retire, because you don't want to be remembered for the last season of your career when you weren't that great, and people forget that the first 5-10 seasons. You want to be remembered for just having a fantastic career, kind of thing. So yeah, it is what it is. I know he missed his penalty yesterday, but yeah, like I said, Mbappe and Haaland are the next big ones, probably now the next 10-15 years maybe.
Okay, so yeah, now looking at the Premier League, so we've seen in the top 4 race, I'd say Chelsea are still in it, so this does concern you. Tottenham are dropping points. Man United have been dropping points. They did get a win against Brighton the other day, but they've been dropping points recently. Tottenham had a poor run. They've dropped a couple of games, lost to Southampton and Southampton. What's your thoughts now on the top 4?
I think, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see who can get, you know, in the 3rd and 4th spot. But I think really and truly the 3rd spot we should be getting. I don't see anyone challenging us for that. I think we're going to be too strong in terms of we'll deal with the smaller games. well, supposedly smaller games. No game's easy in the Premier League, and that's why it's the greatest league in the world. But I think we should be comfortable in finishing third. But it is a little bit disappointing to even be in that conversation. I mean, it does upset me when you even talk about us being in a top four race. It was not in an arrogant way, but we're too good to be in a top four race. We're champions of Europe, champions of the world. I don't like the sound of being in a top four race, I'll be honest with you, but it is what it is. We'll have to deal with it when we come back to the Premier League, which is, this Saturday now, coming up against Crystal Palace away. We need to win the game, and we need to build a lot of confidence and a lot of character from winning this World Club Championships now, because we can't mess around with this league. It's your bread and butter. You have to make sure the minimum for Chelsea is top four. For me, it's top three, actually. I don't want to get fourth spot. For me, that's not good enough to be in this battle. So I hope we'll be all right there. And I think it's going to be interesting now to see, out of all, Arsenal, United, West Ham and Spurs. Like I said before, I don't think Spurs are going to get it. And I don't think West Ham are going to get it either. So I think it's going to be between Arsenal and Man United. And looking at it near the end of the season, Arsenal have Man United at the Emirates. And I think that'll be a very big game in deciding who gets the Champions League spot. So I'm excited to see how it ends. But I won't even entertain the possibility of us not being in top four, because it's not good enough for me, honestly. So let's see what happens, though. But just excited to get back to the Premier League. We haven't played in ages. It's like we're not in it anymore, honestly. We haven't played it for so long now. I don't even think about the Premier League. But, and obviously Man City have gone so far ahead, and so Liverpool now. So it's kind of a weird season to be in for Chelsea right now in terms of Premier League.
Okay, and I think your thoughts on the top four race?
Yeah, I think the win against Wolves for you guys last week was massive. And especially after you guys got another red card. I really don't understand your discipline, the Arsenal's discipline, but another red card, but you held on. Big win. Wolves away is not an easy game. They don't concede many goals at all. We struggled. We only won 1-0, and that was because of a 93rd minute winner as well. So big win for you guys. Tottenham completely fallen off the rails now, and they're going to get absolutely spanked against City on Saturday. I think they'll lose 6-0 or something. If they defend like they did against Southampton, they're in for big trouble, big trouble. And you know what? It doesn't matter who City put out. They can put, because they've got such a good depth, they can just rotate, and whoever Pep puts out will spank them, especially because it's at the Etihad as well. And I think Pep will know that he can't afford to slip up, because Liverpool are, we're gonna hopefully keep winning. City have to keep winning because of us. So it's not a foregone conclusion that City have just, they're wrapped it up. They know they need to keep winning. So I think they're going to destroy Tottenham, which is good for you guys. And then who else is there? West Ham. Yeah, West Ham, I think they won their last game, but I still don't think they'll be there come April time. And as for United, well, it's a shame they beat Brighton 2-0. I was hoping it'd be another draw, because they seem to like drawing at home against mid-table teams. So, yeah, like I said, it'll be between United and Arsenal, and hopefully you guys pip them to fourth. I'd love to see United in the Europa League next season. Okay,
that'd be great for us. I hope we can get third. I think we've still got a chance of getting third, but it's gonna be interesting. Long way to go. Looking at
some respect, yeah. Have some respect. You guys get third, yes. We're comfortably finish top three.
Things have happened. Put it this way.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we shall see. If we can put a good run together now.
Did anyone think Liverpool were going to get third last season when we were sitting 8th in February?
No. But you guys, that's the brilliance of Klopp, to be able to work with what he has, even though you had loads of injuries, and to stay consistent. And you won the last, I don't know how many games in a row, and got third spot.
But what I'm saying, it's not beyond the realms of
no, it's not. And that's the thing. The only really and truly in terms of results, only Man City and Liverpool are the teams that can consistently get win after win after win after win. And it's so weird. Like, like I said, like I keep saying to you guys, like I never had confidence to win in the league. but I had very strong confidence that we could retain the Champions League. It's just because I just know how we are, and I know we're not consistent. So I just hope we can be consistent enough to comfortably secure third spot. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, like I said, it's not a big difference to finish third or fourth because you ain't got to qualify anymore. They got rid of that rule. But the same point is just for morale and in terms of it wouldn't feel right finishing fourth this season. But even if we did, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It's just wouldn't feel right getting caught up in all that kind of that fight of top four. But only time will tell, and we need to see how consistent we can be and how the other teams can be. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys listen to Talksport or watch their videos online, but they had an interesting debate over Klopp and Pep. So it was about the qualitative versus the quantitative. So the quality of the silverware you win versus the sheer number of trophies you win. And what the argument was that Pep obviously has won like Premier League title after Premier League title after Premier League title and all the domestic trophies, and he's not won the European Cup. But then Klopp has won obviously the Premier League and the European Cup. The argument was, could Pep do what Klopp did? So join Liverpool back in 2015 like Klopp did, inherit that squad, not have an unlimited budget like he has at City, recruit wisely, and then lead Liverpool to Premier League and Champions League titles. And likewise, would Pep have done that at City, even though he had the unlimited budget, bearing in mind he had already like a semi-world-class squad already? Because if you remember, before Pep joined, he already had Sergio Aguero, Fernandinho, David Silva, company. So he had at least 5 or 6 world-class players, and then he added to that, which obviously elevated him to winning more Premier League titles. So that was the argument. And the second thing I was going to say is, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Trent in the Liverpool pre-match, pre-conference ahead of the Inter game, he had a slight. He even said it's not a dig to Man City, although it kind of was. He said, but if you look at Man City, they've never won a European Cup, whereas we've won it all, kind of thing. We've won the Premier League and the European Cup in the last 2 years. So you know, it just shows like however much money you have to spend doesn't always guarantee like success. Is a slight dig at Man City. So I just want to gather your thoughts on that. And yeah, who do you think is the better manager, or who's proven to be the better manager, Pep or Klopp, in the last 6-7 years?
Okay, so for me personally, I think that from what I've seen in my life of football, I think Jürgen Klopp is the best manager I've ever seen, in terms of not necessarily winning all the trophies and things like that, even though he's won every trophy he can win. In terms of he's won the European trophy at Liverpool and won the Premier League with Liverpool and won the Bundesliga back-to-back with Borussia Dortmund. I think that if you look at Jürgen Klopp, what he does is he doesn't inherit the best team like Guardiola does. And I'm not knocking Guardiola because Guardiola is a fantastic manager. He's relentless. This is why they keep winning title after title. And if they win it this season, it'll be 4 out of 5, I think. So, yeah, big respect to Guardiola. But for me, Guardiola's not on the same level as Jürgen Klopp because Jürgen Klopp doesn't need to be dominant. If you look at it, Jürgen Klopp joined Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund were second to Bayern, as they usually are. And he broke it and he won the Bundesliga back-to-back, which wasn't a small thing to do. And he, unfortunately for him, lost the final in 2013 at Wembley to Bayern Munich, which was a last-minute Arjen Robben goal. So if you think about it, with less resources than Bayern Munich he was up against, and he managed to, win 2 Bundesligas back-to-back, and big respect for that. And even like Liverpool, if you look at it, it took him a few seasons. And to be honest with you, he was slowly building the team. And yeah, before we won actually the Champions League, even I was thinking, do you know what? He needs to win something quickly, because even though he's building something big, he's not won anything yet. He lost the Europa League final, lost the Carabao Cup final.
And then the Champions League final.
Sorry?
He lost 3 finals. Yeah, the Europa League final in 2015, the League Cup final in 2016, and then the Champions League final to Real Madrid in 2018. So it was an unlucky first 3 years of his reign.
Yes, but for me though, is that with the resources he's worked with and the team he's built, I think for me he's on another level to Guardiola in terms of, I think they're both managing skills are absolutely amazing. They're both world-class managers, both some of the greatest managers we'll ever see. But for me, Klopp does things in a completely different way with less money. And if you look at the Liverpool team, inherited were completely poor. Apart from a few names, the team was not good enough to compete for anything. But then he made that team himself. He used the Coutinho money. Even Liverpool did spend some money themselves. And you guys have made an amazing team. Now, obviously, his big criticism from a lot of people is that he can't rebuild a team. So now, if he can rebuild this Liverpool team and be successful, then that criticism can't be said anymore. And for Guardiola, the problem I have is that every team he's joined has been the most dominant team in that country. So Barcelona, he had an amazing team, and don't get it twisted, he was an amazing manager, and he managed that team very well. A lot of world-class players, and they were amazing to watch when he was at Barcelona, especially that 2011 team. And then you look at Bayern Munich, they were the best team. They were the most dominant team in their league, which they always are. And he just kept it going. And he actually made them even more relentless, so big respect there. But he never got the Champions League, unfortunately. They kept messing up in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, especially to Real Madrid. And then you look at now, you could say he's been unlucky. He lost the final to us last season. But we were the better team. And if you look at it last season, they were relentless. They were flawless in the Champions League last season, but they came up short. So for me, if Guardiola can win the Champions League, then a lot of his critics get shut down. They have nothing to say then, because he's done it again at another team instead of it just being at Barcelona. But as a manager, if you look at both managers, I don't think Guardiola can do what Klopp's done. I don't think he does it at Dortmund, and I don't think he does it at Liverpool, because he's always worked with big resources and world-class players and worked with very dominant, strong teams. Like you said, he inherited a world-class team in Man City. And yeah, the first season he struggled, but then when he managed to spend all that money that he was able to spend, he done really well. But then look, I'm not going to say just because he spent money, you can't give him a lot of credit, because you have to. He's been absolutely amazing, like I said. And I can't, one of my favorite managers, Evan Mourinho, people say he needs a lot of money, and he does. He needs that support of backing of the owners and everything, but he makes it work. But as you said in the debate, for me, Jürgen Klopp is a better manager by far in terms of what he works with and what he's done, and the team he's made is absolutely amazing. And we have to remember that when you have all the money that Guardiola's had, he spent 150 million on fullbacks in the second season of Man City. So not many people have the ability to do that. So, and Klopp never managed to do that. Klopp had to get a signing spot on, or he's in big trouble. And he got his signing spot on. Obviously, the Liverpool board was a big part of that, not just Klopp. So a lot of credit has to be to the board and the owners and everything. But yeah, for me, that's my thoughts on it. I think Klopp's on another level, and I think he's the best manager I've ever seen in my life in terms of what he's worked with. So what do you think, Amit?
Go on, Amit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Pep. I respect Klopp, great manager, but Pep, I've never seen football like it. If you really want to watch beautiful football, we've been blessed at Arsenal to have Arsene Wenger, and we're the ball. And amazing football. When we're at our peak, it was some of the best football you could ever see. But I think Guardiola's teams, they're the same way, the way they pass it about, just quick one touch, the way they press, they're just relentless. And when you watch them, they just sometimes they're having against really good teams, 70-80% possession. I know football's not just about possession, but I like that style of play. Their system that Guardiola played with all these teams, it's always just a pleasure to watch them play. He's got to go there and then go and win. And he goes and wins. Not just wins, he wins comfortably. You see the points differences when he was winning the league for Barcelona many times. It was like massive gap down to Real Madrid. Same with Bayern Munich. It's a bit easier at Bayern Munich, don't have much competition. But then you look at the League, He's done it there. They've been winning the league a couple of times. The only season they really pushed was when you guys pushed them, and they got like, what was it, 97 points?
I think it was 99.
Yeah, 97. They got
97. Yeah, they got 99. So they just stepped up the bar, and then the other times they won it like by 15 points. And Man United one time, I remember last season, they won very comfortably. So you know they've definitely raised the bar, and you've got to give Pep credit for that. Klopp, like I say, all respect to him. He's done well. Doesn't have the kind of funds that Man City have had. Done well to get in. You know the way he's done in the transfer window. Strategically, he's done very well. You've got a really good all-round team. And I respect what he's done a lot, but yeah, as I say, so the debate, my opinion is Pep is the better manager.
One thing I forgot to mention, earlier, and I'm going to sound completely biased, but I don't really give a shit. The difference between Klopp and Pep as well is I think Klopp's a better coach than Pep, and the reason why I say that, look at who Liverpool have signed. So Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, even Gini Wijnaldum. Let's look at Salah and Mane. Before they arrived at Liverpool, would you have considered either of them as world class?
No.
You consider them world class now?
Yeah, 100%. Especially Sadio, especially Mohamed Salah.
That is down to Klopp.
The same with wait, Pep Sterling. Yeah, when Pep got Sterling, he wasn't
not to the extent that Klopp's turned not an average player, but a good player into a world-class player.
De Bruyne is another one.
Yeah, but the levels that the players that Klopp has signed that have gone up, like even people like Fabinho, Alisson. Alisson was a good keeper, but he wasn't world-class. Virgil van Dijk used to play for Celtic, then he went to Southampton. He was not world-class, nowhere near world-class. Now he's arguably, in the last 3 years, been considered one of the best centre-backs in the world. Fabinho is another one. Even someone like Henderson. Now, he didn't sign Henderson, but Henderson was okay, but he's become better under Klopp. This is what I keep saying. All these players that Klopp has signed or Klopp has worked with, have just, their levels have gone higher and higher and higher. I think to a greater extent than what Pep has done with the likes of De Bruyne and Sterling, like you mentioned. I'm not saying that Pep hasn't done that, but I think Klopp has done that to a greater extent, which is why I think Klopp is a better coach and overall a better manager. And it's like Omar said, until Pep wins that Champions League, for me, Klopp is still the better manager.
Okay. I've got to say one thing.
Yeah.
I've got to say one thing, yeah. For example, another difference is that, for example, like Jordan Henderson, I don't think is a world-class footballer. I think we can all agree he's not a world-class footballer. But he is world-class for the Jürgen Klopp system because the high pressing, high energy. He's world-class for Jürgen Klopp, but he's not a world-class player. So players like Jordan Henderson have played amazing, and he's a great captain. But he's obviously to that system where he is world-class. Now, if you put Henderson in the Man City team, I don't think he is as world-class then. Or if you put him in another team, he's not as great. I think both teams have done amazing. Both managers have done amazing with coaching their players. Like Rodri wasn't world-class before he came to Man City from Atletico Madrid. Now he's world-class. Like Amit said, De Bruyne. Raheem Sterling was very good at Liverpool, but then he went to another level at Man City. But then, of course, you would do when you play with better players. It's difficult. That debate can take us hours and hours to have on who. But I agree with you, Abik, a little bit in terms of So if you look at the magnitude of the steps above that, people like Salah, Mane, Trent, Robertson, all these guys, the way they game, the way they step it up, is absolutely amazing. Now, like Amit said, what I got to go touch on as well is I like watching Liverpool start to play. I like that aggressive kind of, don't give the other team any space or anything. Just keep pressing them non-stop. I like that more. So for me, I prefer watching that type of football rather than watching possession. But that's just, everyone has their own personal preferences. So I think that's why I've sided more with Klopp, because I like his style of play. Like he says, a heavy metal football. But Amit likes maybe more the classical Wenger football, which is fine. That's each their own. I think both world-class managers, and we don't necessarily have to compare them. But like we're doing now, everyone has their own opinion. But I think Klopp has done a much better job than Guardiola has done. And I don't think Guardiola does nowhere near as good without the money. And because the way he plays requires certain players, very particular players in the way he plays. And same thing with Klopp, he requires very particular type of players. So it's a difficult to have. But for me, it's Jürgen Klopp. And yeah, you're outnumbered on it, so Klopp wins. So I think it's
that's what I was going to ask you, Amit. So, simple question: does Pep do what Klopp does if Pep joined Liverpool in 2015?
He's not proven it, so we can't say, that's the thing. We've never seen him go and do that kind of a job at a club. So I believe he's got the ability to do it, but until he's actually done it, we can't comment on that. So in the same way, can we say Klopp would go to a team like Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Man City, and we can play that kind of dominant football and win the league so comfortably?
I think he would.
Yeah,
you don't have to play that football. You don't have to play that football. But you think about it, he doesn't have to play that football. He can play high pressing football, Barcelona or Bayern Munich. You don't have to play.
Not so much playing that football, but then you remember you need the players to be able to play the system you play. So the system that they're playing at Barcelona, that they're used to playing, is the system that Pep's very good at. Yeah. Then he went to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, he changed them a little bit, but again, Bayern Munich were good at that type of football. Man City again, So different styles. Remember, they have this saying in boxing: styles make fights, and same in football. The management, the players you have to match with what the manager's vision is and how he wants to play. So, it's hard to say, but they're both great managers. Unfortunately, I'm outvoted on this one. So for the Triple A show, the overall winner is Klopp. Okay, so
guys, me and Ummo agree on Klopp. Amit thinks it's Pep, but drop a comment and let us know your thoughts. Who's the better manager? Who's proved that they've been the better manager with the resources they've had? And yeah, answer the question. Could Pep do what Klopp has done at Liverpool with limited funds and the squad that he inherited?
All right, so to finish with, let's take a look at our games this weekend. So I'll start with our game against Brentford. It should be a comfortable home win for us. I said that before the Burnley game, and it didn't turn out like that. We know the Premier League's always difficult, but Brentford are in poor form. They've not won in their last 6 games, and I'm hoping that we can get an early goal and then go on to win it quite comfortably. So I'm predicting a 3-0 win for us. Amma?
Yeah, my prediction is going to be 1-0 Arsenal, because I feel like you guys aren't going to be clinical with your chances. Obviously, I don't think you have a clinical finisher, so that's one of the biggest problems. I think you guys are going to have most of the possession, most of the ball and everything. You're going to control the game. You're just not going to score many goals. I don't think you'll smash them. I think you'll get one. You will finish one chance, maybe at the end of the game, and win the game 1-0.
Yeah, I think it'll be comfortable. I think Brentford have pitted out as the season's gone on. They were more dangerous pre-Christmas, but I think you'll win 2 or 3-0. And yeah, even though you've got Martinelli suspended and you haven't got the firepower, you still got the likes of Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, who can cause Brentford problems. So yeah, 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay, and then let's look at Liverpool versus Norwich. I think it's going to be a hiding for Norwich there. You guys are in really good form. And, I don't think they're going to be able to keep the score low. I think it's going to be 4-0 Liverpool. Avik?
Yeah, I think if Fabinho turns up, he'll get his customary goal for a continuation of his 5 or 6 he's got so far in 2022. We've got Mane and Salah back now as well, obviously, so they'll cause Norwich some problems. Diogo Jota's going to be out. He picked up an injury yesterday at Inter, so I don't think he'll play. But we've got the likes of Luis Diaz and Bobby Firmino who can come in. So yeah, it should be a routine home victory. So 3-0 Liverpool, I think.
I'm going to go something a bit wild. I'm going to go with 7-0 Liverpool.
I hope so.
I just think, for me, the way both teams are playing and the way it's looking, I think it should be an absolute battering. But again, it could be 1-0 out of nowhere. You never know with the Premier League. Anything could happen, but I think my prediction is 7-0. I think maybe Salah gets a hat trick. Maybe good for me for my fantasy team.
Okay, and then Crystal Palace against Chelsea. That'd be a hard game for Chelsea. It's a London derby. Palace have been playing quite well this season. Our guy Patrick Vieira there as their manager. I think Chelsea will nick it 2-1. Your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said prior in this video, I think we have to show a strong performance. We have to build on the Club World Cup victory, and I'm just hoping we can have a strong performance. And I don't mind how we win. If we use a last minute penalty, whatever, we just need to get the points on the board. So I think we're going to win 1-0. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the fans are going to be, Selhurst Park is amazing. When the fans are behind them, it's amazing atmosphere. But I think it'll be a close game. But I do think we'll just win the game 1-0. I think we'll get that important goal. Hopefully, Lukaku can get another goal to add to his 2 he got in the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will win. I think it'll be uncomfortable 3-1 victory. And I say uncomfortable because 3-1 sounds convincing and like a stroll in the park. I don't think it's going to be a stroll in the park. But I think it'll be one of those games where Palace are in it for majority of the game. Maybe it's 1-1 for quite a while, and then Chelsea get a second, and then they get a late third, because they've done it and they've got the job done. So yeah, 3-1 Chelsea, I think.
Okay, and then if we look at a couple of other big games from this weekend, so Tottenham have got Man City away, and Tottenham are in really poor form. That's the last place you can go. If you're in poor form and you need to get a result, I think Man City are going to thrash them. Tottenham might get a goal there. I think it's going to be 4-1 to Man City.
Okay, so I understand what everyone's thinking in terms of Man City going to smash Tottenham, and I think that could potentially happen. But I think we also have to remember that Tottenham is like a bogey team of Man City, where if you look at in the previous years, I know it's normally at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or White Hart Lane, but Tottenham have a good record against Man City, especially at home. And you look at all the incident of the quarterfinal when Spurs knocked out Man City and things like that. So I think there's this little, I wouldn't say rivalry, but this little battle between both the clubs. And I think you're going to actually have a shock. I think it's going to be 1-1. And I think Tottenham are going to set up well with Antonio Conte. I think they're going to set up well. They're going to frustrate Man City. And I think they might even nick a goal. I think they might even nick the first goal. But then I think Man City will get the equaliser. And then it's only after then, I think maybe if Man City can push on, maybe they can win the game. But I just think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. And then obviously that brings the title race wide open then in terms of Liverpool and Man City, if my prediction is correct. But like I said, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's 3-4-5-0 if Tottenham capitulate, especially if they concede early. And then, it will be a long day for Tottenham and for the Tottenham fans.
Okay, and Abi?
I hope your prediction is correct. If it is correct, it makes my weekend. But I would bet my mortgage on Man City winning that game. And where Amit thinks that Tottenham are going to score a goal, I don't think they're going to score a goal. I think they're going to lose 4 or 5-0. I think they're going to get absolutely battered to the point where people will start asking questions about Conte and his future, even though he's only been there for 2 months or a month or however long he's been there. They'll start asking questions because they'll be like, where are Tottenham going now? Because when Conte came in, did they win like their first 3 or 4 games, and people were like, oh, Tottenham looked good, Tottenham looked solid, they looked a different outfit, and then they've just gone and lost, I think, their last 3 or 2, whatever, and now the wheels are falling off. And just like you said, going to the Etihad is the last place you want to go to when you need to pick up points. I think they're going to lose 4 or 5-0, and it's the end of their top 4 challenge as well, I would say.
That would be great. I'm looking forward to Saturday. So that's all from us.
Yeah, see you later, guys. Amazing to be back on. Thanks for having me on again. And up the Chelsea, common the boys in blue.
Yeah, good to be back on the show and up the Reds.
Cool. Thanks for coming on again. And please remember everyone to subscribe, like, and share.